Hello one and all, and welcome to Behind the Glass. I'm your host, Sam, from the YouTube channel Seen Through Glass.
And I'm Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales.
Yes, you are. Each week we get together, we talk about cars, motorsport, F1, what else? Cars? We talk about cars. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can watch us on youtube.com/Behind the Glass. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. And Tony, if people want to support this podcast, what should they do?
Watch it.
No. But also head to Patreon. You can support us on patreon.com/Behind the Glass. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Welcome to the new studio.
Brilliant, mate.
You don't sound that impressed.
Well, because I can see what's behind the camera.
Yes. I will be very honest with you. Behind the camera is a mess. Actually, well, in front of the camera is a bit of a mess. If you're watching here on YouTube, you may have seen this backdrop in some of the F1 episodes, the After the Checker Flag series that I do with Paul Wallace. But this is the first time you're seeing it here on the main show. And yeah, I mean, I've done enough to make it look presentable. The rest of the room, a disaster. But we have moved. I think we kind of teased it a bit a few weeks ago. I have left Duke of London. I haven't fallen out with Duke of London. We're going back for a live show at the end of the year. But yeah, decided to relocate. I'm in a bit of a smaller unit. But it's going to work out well. I'll give you guys a tour at some point. But it's your first time here.
Yeah.
And it's unbearably hot.
It's roasting.
We're going through a heat wave today.
What about these?
They don't stay open. I've got two very nice skylights that I think are heating us like a glass house. You can open them, but they don't stay open. I've got to look into that.
Or just wedge a stick, mate.
Yeah, I don't have a stick. So we're literally in here being cooked alive. Yeah. So if halfway through this recording we drop down dead, that's why.
Roasting and gout.
Exactly. I'm suffering with gout. We're roasting. It's all kicking off, but we are here to do another episode for you. And I want to dive straight in and hear all about your trip, Tony. Because you've been away.
I've been on holiday, yeah. Well, yeah, it was an holiday. It's an holiday for me. It was a driving holiday.
Lovely.
All my friends. We went a little bit of Switzerland. Okay. First day was ruined, actually, because we stayed in the Chedai in Andermatt.
Lovely.
Specifically.
Well done. Ooh, that's something you ever
to do the roads around there, because literally you come out of that hotel, you turn right, you go up, and you can go whatever way you like, and you're on an amazing road. Anyway, the first day we opened the curtains, pouring harder rain, like pouring, and a couple of the cars have got semi-slick tyres, and it's not nice driving a supercar in the rain anyway. And if you've got semi-slick tyres, it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? So that day was a little bit of a washout. So literally a washout. So we didn't want to sit in the hotel all day and do nothing. So we literally just went to Lake Como for lunch. Because it's about an hour's drive from there, roughly.
In all the cars?
No, not in all of them. We took... there was 5 cars, I think 3 cars.
Okay, nice.
So yeah, we just drove Lake Como, went to Bergamo. Bellagio.
I think Bergamo's an airport, so it would have been
an airport in Milan. No, because that's the Emilia.
I thought if you went to Bergamo for lunch, it's not. The rest of the trip was very 5-star. I would have been surprised if you went to Bergamo for lunch.
Yeah, we went to Bellagio. Went on a little ferry to get over there. Obviously, had some lunch where we normally have some lunch. Come back. But by the time we'd done that, the day was sort of over. So the first day was a bit of a washout. Then second day was a little bit disappointing because we really went to Switzerland to do them roads.
Of course, amazing
roads. And then we kind of went out, skirted round Italy, really not for very long, and then back into France where we spent the rest of the week, basically. So the trip was more or less revolved around the French Alps, which is where... We've said many times before, if you're going to go on a road trip and you want to be road after road after road, just doll it yourself in the French Alps and you should be able to drive around for a week. The roads are amazing. So we get into the French Alps. We stayed in... I always forget the place. It's a ski...
Chamonix?
Might be Chamonix, yeah.
That's... is that in France? It's just below... You come through the big tunnel, the Mont Blanc tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chamonix, probably. Some nice hotels there.
Yeah. So we stayed there for 3 days and we'd done all the roads around there. Lots of different routes. Then we headed south towards as you come to Red Rock.
Yeah, Red Rock Road, famous Red Rock Road. We're gonna call it.
Yeah, and then we went west and finished above Cannes.
Oh, okay.
So in a beautiful resort where we finished, and then spent the last day just chilling out and went for lunch somewhere. And
did you buy a car for the trip? Did you take your car? What did you end up going in?
yeah, so I can tell people what I've got because I'm going to sell it now. Okay. So
I didn't quite know how to approach that, but
yeah, I'm gonna sell it next month. So I don't really care if people know now. So I took a Pista.
Oh,
so,
yes, you did.
Well,
oh, yes, you did.
The third one I've had.
Oh, Billy got it so yeah.
Coupe convertible and then back to a coupe. So, but I'm going to sell that next month, so I won't have that anymore. I'll have something else. But yeah, I took a coupe piece.
It's in your mind unbeatable for that kind of trip, right?
I can't think of many. When you look at like all round, like its speed, the room in it, the boot space. Don't forget, like we're carrying luggage all week as well. The only thing is, as we both know, it's death in the wet. Yeah. So it's death in the dry sometimes. Yeah. But that's another reason why I really like it, as we spoke about many times before, because it can kill you. Like I just really like them, mate. So
what else was in the group? What else was on the trip?
So what you're getting, 992 GT3,
okay,
which I had to go off.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. SVJ Roadster,
yeah,
which he loves, by the way.
The owner, not
the
me.
Owner, yeah, nor me. And 992 Turbo S,
okay,
which is a cool car, and an F8.
And an F8. Did anyone regret the car they took on the trip?
I don't think so.
Everyone was happy in their choice.
Yeah, I think they all like their cars. I mean, and we are splitting hairs, and on the road they are all as fast as each other. It's just that what you prefer to drive, essentially. Very interesting comparison between my car and the F8. You'd think that they would be really similar because same engine. They are basically based on a 488, although the Pista is different in the way that it has got loads of different parts. It's loads lighter.
They'll tell you so does the F8.
Yeah.
They'll say the F8 has loads of different parts as well.
The F8 is literally a 488 with a little bit more power. It's literally the same.
It's a 488 with a Pista engine.
Yeah.
The benefit of the Pista is everything else that you just mentioned. It's the stripping of the weight and the lightweight components that give the car a different feel. So as
the
maybe
engine note as well,
yeah,
the exhaust note, it feels loads more special, the Pista.
When you drove the F8, did you go from normal to track? I can't even remember the Manatina positions, or did you just get in and go straight to race?
Yeah, I always switch them to race or CT off when they're
so
hot.
the thing which I think I would have liked you to have done, to have known, because we spoke about this briefly on WhatsApp, so I know that Tony wasn't that bowled over by the F8 after we kind of both got intrigued by them on the Mille Emilia. We saw them on the road thinking, oh, they look all right.
Well, I tell you what, mate, it was really weird because I spent a week looking at a coupe F8, and then we all went to Cannes for lunch on the last day, and there was a F8 Spider, yellow one, in the car park, and we all went, wow, that looks amazing. Great, yeah. It was exactly the same, but
they've
just
got amazing road presence.
Yeah.
But I know that you were a little bit like, oh, it's a bit too flat and fluffy. But I was amazed by that car in its ability to go from, what is it, sport in it?
Yeah, it's wet, sport, race, CT off.
Okay, so obviously wet
then
to race,
death.
but yeah, then instant death. Yeah. But yeah, sport to race in that car blew my mind, and I thought I made a sort of comparison to a 720S in its ability to be an ultimate kind of GT car. So I think it's a further stretch. 488 sport to race is incremental, where I think with F8 it felt lots more aggressive.
Right, okay, fine.
Obviously it's still going to be off a Pista. I think maybe we got a bit carried away.
Well, the problem is that I jumped out of the Pista expecting the F8 to be almost the same, and it really isn't.
And it shouldn't be.
No.
Because I know we never got a special variant of the F8.
No.
But it was never pitched as a Pista variant.
No.
A version special.
Yeah. But I always thought it's an upgrade to a 488, or it's a softer Pista. But it's really not.
You wouldn't even call it a softer Pista?
No, I'd say it's more of an upgrade to a 488.
Interesting. Okay.
It's not. The Pista is I know I own the Pista, but it's a different animal, mate.
Sure.
In all aspects.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not disagreeing with you. Absolutely not disagreeing with you. I just think it's interesting because, you still like the way that car looks and the idea of it and the presence of it, but actually in reality, have we seen this? I don't know. There was never the big furore around F8s. There was never the big hype and excitement. Lots of people have gone and bought them and they look fantastic and probably a nice thing to own and live with, but it's maybe not as special as it could have been, considering it was the big send-off for that engine.
But they're good value when you think about it. Like they're, a coupe's like 240-ish and a Spider's like 260-ish. Like these new 296s that are coming out, they're going to be 300 plus for a coupe. So, a convertible is going to be 350. So there's a big difference. And then like you look at a normal 488 and a Spider, they're like 180 and 160. They're decent value.
Something
still.
in there. There's something in there.
There is, yeah.
Well, I'm far more intrigued to hear about your impressions of the GT3, because this is your first time driving a 992 variant, right?
Yeah. So 992 variant GT3. Yeah. So I instantly got in it.
PDK manual.
PDK.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that as well because
it's such a boring topic.
The owner, the owner of that car. We was talking, and he knows you as well.
I know, and
he's
I
one
know
of my
him.
best friends.
I know. I'm so not interested by that side of the conversation.
He doesn't listen to this podcast anyway, so we can go in on him.
Yeah, fine.
But he's funny, man.
Go on, we can touch that right at the end. Tell me everything else except the gearbox chat.
I get straight in it, and this is what I love about GT Porsches. You instantly like wrap around the car and it feels so familiar straight away, like without even really going anywhere at 25-30 mile an hour. You can just go flat. I can't really think of many cars that, certainly me, give me that confidence. And maybe it was all the track stuff I've done in my RS and my GT3. Maybe I just feel really comfortable in them. But I mean, it's what I expect, mate. It's brilliant. It's just that there's just nothing else for the money. I know they're fetching stupid money over list at the moment, but for the money, if you're paying list, like any GT product car, they are still miles ahead of anything else you can buy in that price point. Full stop. It's as simple as that.
Did you find it twitchy or too switched on at the front end, like so many people say?
No.
And even if you did, I think you get used to it so quickly. You just jumped out of the Pista, so
that's the problem.
Your point of comparison was probably a bit off. But even when I have got into GT3s, the newest variants, sometimes I'm like, wow, yeah, this is a bit lively at the front. But after half an hour, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like, sure, that's just the car.
I did get the people talking about the tram line bit a bit and it moving with the road, but
I like that.
Well,
feels lively.
The old RS used to do that, and a lot worse than that car, by the way, as well.
Interesting.
It was terrible, the old RS. But in terms of what it gives you, the only problem I had is that, again, I jumped out of the Pista, and as incredible as the GT3 is, and I said to you on the phone, it's not a Pista.
No.
So
I know you could compare them, but I think a very silly comparison to make, mainly and firstly because of the power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always going to feel slow, that GT3 compared to a Pista.
That was the big difference when my friend was driving him and he was behind me at some point and I was behind him. And the Pista is just effortless everywhere. Whereas when you want to get that GT3 going, and in a hairpin, everything's first gear all the time.
You've got to work it.
You've got to really keep the revs up. And I know this sounds really stupid, that a 540 horsepower car feels slow. But when you're in a big out road and you're following a big 700 horsepower car with loads of grip, with equally the amount of grip.
Instant torque. That's the other big thing.
It's the torque,
It's the instant torque because, as you say, you've got to rev the tits out of the GT3 to get that sweet spot, that 8,000, 9,000 RPM mark is where it all comes out. And so if you're chasing, it was the same, funny enough, when I did a trip to Wales with 991.2 GT3 touring, and I was in the F-Type, and the owner, Phil, good friend of the channel, was saying, I just always have to be like finding the gear. Always just to, sometimes we come out of a roundabout, I'll be like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the problem with manual gearbox in general. You got to always be in the right gear. But I couldn't fault it at all. Like, and can you ever really fault a GT Porsche in general? They are incredible cars, especially for the money. You know, the engine sounds louder inside than it does out, for sure, because we was talking about this as well on the trip, and people were saying it does still sound amazing, and it does, but it definitely, from the outside, because I heard it a few times from the outside, and when I drove it inside, it feels really loud inside still. But when I heard it coming past me a few times, yeah, it was loud.
It's muted.
It's not like my old RS or
the 901.1.
Correct. Yeah, it's not a real scream. It feels like inside it's a real scream, but when it's outside, it is just a little bit muted. Yeah.
But I think genius by Porsche, because let's face it, all you really care about is what it sounds like when you're in it.
Yeah, and I think it looks mega as well. I mean, I followed it for a lot of the week.
What was the spec? What was the colour?
Racing yellow.
Ooh, lovely.
Got all the options, all the carbon
ticked
options.
Everything.
Yeah. Everything's ticked. Yeah, It looked really, really nice, and obviously Porsches always sit lovely on the road. They sit better than any other car on the road. They sit on the arches basically, and you can't fault it, mate. My only problem with it is because I jumped out of my car.
Would you have one if you're getting rid of the Pista? Would you have one for a future trip? Would you still want one?
No, I'd want an RS.
You would still wait and want the RS.
I think I'd want the RS.
It's going to be so interesting to see what the RS is going to be like on the road, because journalists alone have been like, new GT3 is too intense, it's too stiff for the road, which, to be fair, I think a lot of traditional car journalists have said for a long time about GT products, and said the GTS is the pick of the bunch. So this new RS with its mammoth wing coming, could it be even a step further? Maybe, but I mean, we can look past that.
Well, yeah, for sure. They're trying to. They're obviously trying to break the Nürburgring record. That's why they're trying to. That's what they've been doing. That's another reason why it's probably taken a little bit of a while to. I mean, that'd be incredible. 550 horsepower, and they've broke the Nürburgring record against cars that have got 250 horsepower more.
Ridiculousness.
It's all down.
It's going to be amazing. We've seen that wing. Well, look, since you've been away, I've driven some cool cars as well.
Well, I know one of the cars you've driven, and it's a possibility, mate. I mean, I'm not going to do it now because I still think they've got some value to fall out of them. But I was really intrigued to what you thought about that car, because it is on my list.
Yeah, well, the Aston Martin Vantage F1 is a truly...
No chance.
If you haven't seen my Instagram...
It's the best gag you've ever done.
My main channel content, last couple of videos with the Aston Martin F1 edition, Aston Martin Vantage F1 edition, and the Lamborghini Huracan STO.
Yeah, that's the one I'd be more interested in.
That's the one. So actually, just to give a bit of a behind-the-scenes look at my life, I've taken the last couple of weeks just a little bit more chilled. I did the Tenerife adventure, then I went to Canada, came back from Emilia, we had the BTG live event, then I had Goodwood Festival of Sweden, then the British Grand Prix, and I've got another trip coming up in just a couple of weeks, and I was like, I think I just need a bit of a breather.
Yeah.
I was getting to a little bit of a creative block and a little bit of a lack of motivation to pick up a video camera, so I thought, I'm just going to take it a bit easy. So had an amazing experience at Silverstone with Pirelli, and that's why I'm going to get into the chat about the Aston Martin Vantage F1. But then I just wanted to take 10 days a bit more chill, but at the same time, Lamborghini had lent me this STO. I thought, well, I should make a video with it, even if I haven't got much time with it.
Tell me, what did you think? I mean, I know bits, but tell me.
Well, we'll get into that one first, and we'll come back to the Vantage.
I'm not interested in the Vantage at all.
Well, I want to talk about it. So,
well, I don't.
The STO, I was not expecting much. Right. Everything I've heard and read and seen about this car was that it's kind of pointless, right? You know, it's too loud to go on track. It's too impractical and uncomfortable to be on the road. No one really seems to want them. They're all appearing on the used market. They're not really trading for overs, which suggests there's not a lot of hype.
Well, they are advertised for overs, but I don't think they're really selling for a lot of overs, yeah.
Sure, and they're sitting on forecourts or in dealerships for seemingly quite a bit of time. Yeah. I think one went in the Collecting Cars Supercar Sunday yesterday. and I wanted to look at the final figure that
You
it
don't know
went,
what it
for,
went
but
for?
that's what I was going to bring up. But anyway, long story short, I was like, but I want to have a go because, you know, we've spoken about it quite a bit on this podcast over the last couple of years. I've kind of started to appreciate Lamborghinis. I never used to, but considering that the rest of the world's supercar manufacturers are all kind of becoming a bit more bland, making their cars a bit more generic, Lamborghini, as we've said, stay true to themselves and they're just making nuts cars and, you know, completely compromised, but in a kind of great way. So I thought I'll have a go and see what it's all about.
And you never drove the Performante, did you?
Never drove the Performante.
Which would have been a half decent reference point for you for what to expect, but because you'd never driven that, you know, you was probably a bit.
My last would have been Evo Spider.
Right. Okay.
So that was my last sort of point of reference.
Fun.
So when it turned up, looked incredible, looked insane, and I thought this is exciting, and I really had one day with it. And you get that initial kind of Lambo hype. So I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. And
just to look at them as well.
Just to look at them and be in them. And it's sort of cool.
Yeah.
And my first job was to drive an hour and a half down the motorway to Newbury because I was doing some filming with the guys at Podium. And 20 minutes in, my back started to hurt.
Did it?
I was like, oh, no.
What seats?
I don't even know. I should have looked. But I mean, I think they didn't look as extreme as they could have been. So I wonder if they were the comfort seats.
I bet they're the middle ones.
They had some padding.
Seats. Right.
But...
not the big things that not the
no,
big
it didn't curve around me.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So they're, you know,
they're probably the sports seats.
Like, I mean, not good.
No good.
No good. But you know, aside from that, you know, unbelievable amount of noise in the cabin. Couldn't hear anything. The worst sound system I've ever heard in my entire life.
All
kind of
like
pointless
that.
putting it on.
They're all like that. Ferrari like that as well, mate.
Can't see. Yeah, fair. Can't see anything at the back because you've got the serrated engine cover. Like, I'm just going. This is a joke, but in kind of a funny way.
Yeah.
And then I found a twisty road or a B road, and oh my god,
yeah,
dude, it's incredible that car.
Okay.
It's incredible because. Firstly, the brakes. I know you're a man who likes brakes.
I like brakes.
These were probably the most aggressive and confidence-inspiring brakes I've ever felt on a road car. They were super impressive, and I probably didn't really get them warm yet, but the brakes were incredible.
Yeah.
Rear-wheel drive just gives you that slight inherent death is imminent kind of sensational feeling, which I like, because a lot of Lambos, they're too confidence-inspiring with the four-wheel drive. You just absolutely pin the throttle everywhere and just go, oh yeah, it's a point-and-squirt car. Yeah. But because this thing is, you know, 630-odd horsepower to the rear wheels, you're like, oh, I could die. And it was like sort of constantly trying to break traction. So much noise. And then an amazing front end. And I was like, oh my God.
This is really good.
This is unbelievable. Like, it felt like a proper driver's car. Like a real... honed, like real for the drivers.
Yeah.
And actually, the more I spent time on it, the more I went, well, that's the only people it's for, because it's the perfect car to wake up at 4 a.m. on a Sunday morning, find an empty road, drive as hard as you can possibly drive.
Within the limits.
Get back to 7:30, 8 a.m., park up the car, and not see it again for another month.
Okay.
Because everything else except that incredible road is kind of stupid.
Yeah, okay.
As in, it's uncomfortable. It's got no luggage space. It rattles you around the place. You can't see out of it. It's so ostentatious. The sound system is poo. The interior comfort's crap. Like, none of the rest makes sense.
Yeah.
But the actual great driving mode, because you can't even take it on track because it's too loud for all these tracks. Everyone's proven, like, Schmee's getting kicked off tracks everywhere.
Nürburgring even.
Nürburgring even.
Noise limit for Nürburgring.
It's too loud.
Yeah.
But if you could have it as part of a collection, and you could, if you lived at an Andermatt at the Cheddar, and you could come out of your hotel onto epic roads, what a car.
Yeah, fair enough.
The rest of the time, a bit of a disaster. But I love it for that.
Yeah, okay.
Because I don't think we're going to see too many more of these supercars like this. Even the Pista is a little bit bland in areas. It is more comfortable. It is easier to live with than a Speciale. It is easier to drive at slow speeds. Like everything is better and easier.
Yeah.
Whilst the STO is worse, harder and worse.
Yeah.
And I just don't think many manufacturers are going to take that formula forward.
But that might be the problem why they're not selling, because it's really, really good at one thing, But so is a 765, so is a Pista, so is an AMG Black Series.
Well, it's good at
so
10
is a
things.
GT2s. And they're all good at 4 or 5 or 10 things, like you said. Like, it's one real... There's one big problem that I have with Ferraris in general, and it really come to the fore when I got out of my car and into the GT3, and that's the entertainment and the
of course.
Oh my God, mate. I mean, my car is poo.
Awful.
Mate, it's
Awful,
terrible.
yeah.
Like the Apple CarPlay,
Little tiny screen,
which is a £2,500 option. In the Porsche, it's basically free.
Of course.
And in the Porsche, you got a lovely big 10 or 12-inch screen, and everything's like where it should be. The Ferrari's like, what's this button for? What's this button for?
Doesn't make any sense.
Nothing makes any sense.
Cruise control says pit and it's a little tiny. Oh, you don't have cruise control on a Pista.
No. But it's like, it's just, mate, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. But obviously, I look through that because it's about the car, and obviously, the STO will have similar traits where if you look beyond all its problems, then and you just want it for that reason, then you know you're right. And you said to me the other day on a message like it would be good for a trip. The big problem I'd have with it is, yeah, it's good for that one thing to do a trip, which is fine by me. But what about when I want to sell it?
Yeah,
Who buys it, mate? That's the problem for me. Like, I always try and buy cars that I know I can get out. That's why I like GT cars, why I like Ferraris, because that's why I like Porsches in general as well. Because when I want to come out of them, I know there's an audience for them. Like with Lambos and McLarens and stuff, yeah, these cars might be incredible when you're in them. When you want to come out of them, the only way you can come out of them is a big poo.
Well, yeah, you're going to lose a ton of money.
Correct.
And you might have to sit around waiting for a while for some idiot to come and buy it.
Yeah.
and you know, you're summing up, or you're matching how I summed up the video, which was, as epic as this thing is, point has been proven in the fact that actually I think we've all become used to and now desire supercars that can do many things.
Yeah.
That's why all these manufacturers have gone in that direction, because now these kind of super extreme blunt instruments aren't as appealing as they used to be. They appeal to me because I like wacky, crazy, stupid things, and I'm fortunate enough that I drive lots of stuff. But if you're going to have one supercar or even two, you want them to be capable at doing lots of different stuff, and it's too focused, it's too restricted in how you can use it, that car, which is a shame because it's brilliant.
Yeah, but it's brilliant at one thing, mate.
It's brilliant at one thing.
Yeah,
it's brilliant, but I guess the purpose it's been built for. Do you know what I mean? It's brilliant at being a full-blooded supercar for people who want to drive fast. And so I would love for you to have a go and see what you think. But yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah, and I would love to have go in another one in the Swiss Alps, because I also said there's no road in the UK that you can even get close to the capabilities of that car.
Well, instantly, as you said that, I'd like to go in the Swiss Alps. I would love to take one up and down Red Rock. Can you imagine?
Yeah, oh my God.
With all the noise.
By the way, should we just clarify this? Because this is one of Tony's favourite roads, but some of you might not actually be familiar when we say Red Rock. It's actually not even an official name. It's a nickname that Shmee and his team developed. Yeah, maybe other people did, but Shmee sort of coined, and then JWW did a whole video dedicated to Red Rock Canyon. Nicknamed that because, well, the rocks are red. But it's an amazing road where you go through, I think, 17 tunnels or more.
Something like that.
Something ridiculous. Little tiny tunnels. And we filmed it on our road trip last year in October and stuff like that. And so it's it's Tony's favourite road.
It's one of
your favourite roads.
Yeah.
And so just in case, because if you're ever looking it up, it doesn't always come up as Red Rock Road or Red Rock Canyon. I can't actually remember the actual name of it. But if you type it on YouTube, you'll find it.
Is it the D2022?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but if you search on YouTube, you'll find it. But just wanted to clarify that because we talk about it quite a bit on this podcast, but today we've mentioned it a lot. And
because
just in case you're interested.
one way is more straight and the other way is more twisty. The road's not the same both ways.
Because the tunnels are super narrow and single track through the tunnels.
So it takes you off left and right. And like I just come belting out the tunnels. But I literally, as you were saying, STO, I thought, oh my God, that would be amazing down that road.
For me, I would prefer something opener and wider, personally, because that road scares me a bit. But anyway, so yeah, that car was incredible. Huge thanks to Lambo for giving me the opportunity, because I was intrigued. I was intrigued, and I really enjoyed the experience. But the one that really impressed me more, mate.
Don't be so
no, just go with me here. I'm so glad you weren't around when I got hold of this car, and I saw a few other people mention this, because if you weren't so bloody minded, you would have seen that there's been quite a lot of positivity around the Vantage F1 edition. Right. So to clarify, this is the V8 car, not the V12. It is not a GT3 or a Pista variant of the Vantage, but it's probably as close as we're ever going to get. It's not lightweight, it's not stripped out, but it is more focused. Most of the work done around the suspension. It's only a little tweak on the horsepower, a little bit more, well, the torque's a little bit more available. Supposed downforce, but you're never going to feel that on the road, so who cares? So it's all about suspension work.
Brakes and steering?
Yeah, brakes. You can get optional ceramics.
Optional?
Yeah, optional ceramics.
Really? How much
like a
car?
GT3, mate.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's not Ferrari. It's
calm yourself down,
It's
mate.
only Ferrari and Ferrari that's standard, yeah.
Calm yourself down.
Even Lambo's an option.
So yeah, optional ceramics. And anyway, so long story short, inside and out, apart from the wing, it just looks like a very nice Vantage. But to drive, and to drive fast, I adored this thing, mate. So I think I did some filming with it. I had it over the Grand Prix weekend. To drive up and down to Silverstone, not much to talk about. Infotainment system's old now, really old, horribly old. No CarPlay, Mercedes tech from 10 years ago. The entire layout is also starting to feel a little bit dated. When did that Vantage launch? 2016, 2017? 2017.
Yeah, 17, yeah.
So I think, it's sort of a little bit over familiar now. It feels like it could do with maybe a bit of a refresh. But, so yeah, the drive up and down, I was like, yeah, sure, like whatever, fine. But, looks nice, gets a lot of appreciation, that car on the road.
More than, I said this before, that we had a couple of Vantages in stock that shape. And you get more people look at them and comment on it as you're driving around or in a petrol station than I have on most other cars that I've driven.
But the moment I went, oh good Lord, I would own one of these.
Oh no.
Was on the Sunday. On the Sunday after the race, I had a nightmare leaving Silverstone. 4.5 hours, mate.
As always.
4.5 hours it took me to leave Silverstone.
Yeah.
And eventually I got out and I got away from the traffic and I had a run from Silverstone on the back roads, avoided the motorways, on the back roads back down towards the M25. And boy, I drove like we're on the Mille Miglia still. I threw all the road rules out the window.
45 mile an hour you drove
if anyone saw a white Vantage F1 edition acting like a hooligan, it was me, and I was proud of how I drove. And the thing was mega, dude, because take the Vantage, which I know you won't agree, but take a C63 if you're going to be cruel about it, and just sharpen it all up. So where that car, I think in standard form, is a little bit lazy, it can be a bit floaty, especially into the corners, and actually feel a little bit heavy. Suddenly, it's just like, yeah, but heavy cars can sometimes not feel as heavy as they are. But
for 5 minutes.
Sure. Anyway, so feel like you just go and tighten it all up and firm it all up. So suddenly you've got much more confidence in the steering feel, in the roll of the car to push on through the corners. The ceramics were great. Nowhere near as impressive as the STO. Oh my God. But a great addition.
As good as a Porsche?
No, but good ceramics, good for that car. Mm-hmm. The question is it a track car? No, it's still not a track car.
Why is it a pace car then?
Well, you can ask Aston Martin that, but it's obviously marketing.
Well, that's what they've done.
It's marketing, mate. It's marketing.
It's another lie.
No, it's marketing.
Right, which is a lie.
It's a marketing. Have you seen some of the cars that Merc used as pace cars back in the day?
Yeah, but they're better than that thing.
They had an SLK at one point, mate.
That's a disaster.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's just a much toy. It's for sure the best, for me, the best new era Aston I've driven. I prefer that to DBS or the DB11s. Still haven't driven V12 Vantage. But yeah, I thought it was the most impressive in terms of handling and enjoyability and as an actual driver's car. Because the rest of the time, it lets itself down with, say, older
tech. Would you buy one
tech.
over a Porsche? So would you compare it to a GTS?
Yes, not a GT3, but I would compare it to a GTS, and yes, I would have one over a GTS. Problem is the price. It's like all Astons, way overpriced. But if it was 115 grand going up against a GTS, yeah, I would have one. Personally, I would have one.
If it was the same money as
if
a
it was
GTS.
the same money as a 992 GTS coupe, but the problem is the infotainment.
How much is it?
Oh, it's like 175 grand.
Oh, yeah,
new. Like, it's stupid money.
Go away. So that's more than the GT3.
Yeah. It's stupid. Yeah. It's stupid money. But that's Aston always make that mistake. Like, it's ridiculous. But no, I really, 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 really enjoyed driving that car fast. And actually, if we were to go on a trip again, and I forced you to take the STO, I would happily take the F1 edition. On a proper long trip, I would happily take that car.
Well, that's because for the one reason you just want me to suffer for most of the time. No. Why until we get on a nice road?
Because earlier you said you might take one on a trip. You can take whatever car you want. What I'm saying is I would be very happy doing a trip in an F1 edition if it had CarPlay. Which you can option. There's just that one I didn't have it.
What about GT4 RS? You haven't driven it. Oh, you have driven it?
No. Passenger ride. Not driven it yet.
Right.
It's a bit too much hype around that car for my liking.
I saw one.
What on?
And
the Cheddar, didn't you?
I saw one at the Cheddar. Yeah. There's one there.
First time you'd seen one?
In the flesh. Was it the first one I can remember seeing in the flesh for sure. I didn't really I wasn't that bothered. It was just like, oh, cool, this is GT3 RS, and I had a little walk up to it. But I didn't spend too much time around it.
It's not got the same presence as a 3 or a 2 RS.
It's not a GT3. No.
It's not got that same. No. As cool as it is, and everyone's like, oh, it's the best car in the world. You see them, and you're like, oh
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I would 100%. If they're the same money, which you'd like to think probably on the market. When you see them GT4 RSs, I bet they are going to be similar money to a GT3. I'd definitely have the GT3 over an RS, over the 4 RS, for sure.
Yeah. But everyone's going nuts about it, saying it's the best Porsche drives car in the world. I'm sure it is.
Mid-engine.
Yeah.
But I don't really think you can beat a GT3.
I get annoyed by cars that get too much hype. Yeah. It's the instant buzzkill for me. It's a car that everyone says, so good.
Yeah.
It's like, well, bore off. Anyway, now we've caught up on cars that we've been driving the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I wanted to update everyone else on my garage. Because lots has changed, mate. We haven't told people. You know, because you're here every week. But, well, firstly, RS6 is gone.
Oh, yeah, it's gone, yeah.
I mean, it's been gone a while.
Oh, thank God you've let that out, because I've told everyone. I know I haven't.
I've been telling everyone off the scenes as well. But, sorry, off record.
No, I haven't told anyone.
RS6 went a while ago. A couple of you maybe noticed it pop up on social media here and there. And we did address it. I said, with the GT3 allocation and with some things changing, I said the RS6 is going to have to go.
You were primed.
But we can address it slightly, because it wasn't just purely a change in cars or availability of cars that changed my mind. I didn't bond with that car at any real point. I think it's a fantastic car if you don't have any other sports cars.
Well, it's not just that, mate. It's a fantastic car if you're not going to do 25,000 miles a year in it as well.
Another point, because financially, that's a big commitment.
Well, for anyone,
you're going to lose a lot of cash.
For anyone, because when you think, these people go out and buy SVRs and they daily them, and they buy these RS6s and they daily them, and M5s. But these are normally businessmen that work in an office, and they drive from home to their office 10 miles and back. So they're not really that bothered about the fuel, because it's going to cost them another 10 or 20 quid a day than it would in a normal car, but who cares? Probably a tenner a day, whatever, who cares? But if you're using a car like we use a car and do lots of miles.
Oh, here he is.
I didn't do that. I just rested my hand on
this place? You're back into your old habit of hitting the table and kicking the table. So you've had a couple of weeks of holiday. You've forgotten how to do these podcasts.
It's all gone all wrong.
In case you're listening, Tony knocked over the sign which sits at the top of the table. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you're like us and you do lots and lots of miles, why would you spend 300 quid a week and losing a load of money on depreciation driving that sort of car when you can have something a load less and more fuel efficient? I mean, you're only going to work, or you're only doing miles,
It's not just that, dude. Like, for me, I didn't need all that kind of car as my daily. Because
because you did need it when you bought it.
Yes. But if I've got the access to other fancy, fast, loud things, it was too much on a day-to-day basis. Yes, it was unbelievably cool walking up to it and getting out of it. And the very odd occasions that I could turn it into some kind of sport mode and have a bit of fun, sure, but it was still heavy and huge.
Yeah.
But most of the time, I was just a bit like, oh, shut up. You know what I mean? Because it has this awful drone. And it was almost like it was so synthetic that even if you accelerated, it was like... It never seemed to actually match up to what I was doing, and the steering feel was a bit loose. But it was just a lot going on when actually... because it was my daily, I just wanted to get in it and cruise around and
Yeah.
schlep around. And you're right, when I got it, it was because I wanted something that I could run as my daily, but could also film and use and feel excited about and get a kick out of. And then, yes, my situation changed, GT3 allocation and something else which we're about to reveal. You know, and I suddenly went, okay, fine. Well, actually, my daily could go back to being something boring. But long story short, if that hadn't have happened, would I have kept that car that much longer? Probably not. I don't think I was ever going to bond with it in the way that maybe I hoped I would or thought I might. So it was always going to go at some point.
Because it is a cool car, the RS6.
Such a cool
it's
car.
a really cool car. And if you want it for that reason to go work and back, and then at weekends as a weekend car, but you don't do loads of miles during the week, but you want it as a family car, you've got a dog, it is perfect, mate. It really is a real proper bit of kit. And inherently, they do hold their value. They are good. They always look nice. Outside, I think they look amazing as well. But yeah, if you're gonna do loads and loads of miles in it and want to drive it properly, then you do start, because it's 2 ton, mate.
Yeah,
it's a 2 ton car.
So unfortunately, just didn't work out. And some people might say, well, why did you buy it in the first place?
Because you wanted it.
Because I wanted it.
Yeah.
You know, it was an experiment. It didn't work out for me, but
You got a few quid.
I got a few quid.
Yeah.
So I was like, screw it, I'm going to buy an expensive car. I lost a few quid too. Anyway, so that's gone. And I can reveal very unexcitedly, I'm back in an X3.
That's better.
I'm back in an X3. So yeah, the daily is now truly back to being a daily. Got the new shape updated X3 M40D.
There you go.
I went for the diesel.
Yeah.
Just because I thought, again, maybe diesel's not going to be a thing in a few years,
Why
but
didn't you buy an electric car, mate?
well, I really toyed with buying an electric
I
car.
wonder why you didn't.
Well, because I just couldn't fathom living with one.
There you go. Thank you.
I just, the way that I use dailies is to truly daily them and just bump up and down to filming locations and move stuff around, blah, blah. And the expense of the electric cars blew my mind. I couldn't find anything that was even comparable to the X3 of financing how I financed it. Everything was 300-400 quid more per month. I didn't want to hassle Vicky with the thought of recharging because she uses the daily as much as I do.
Of course.
She couldn't wrap her head around charging and things like that. So we've spoken about it so many times in this podcast. It wasn't going to happen. I really wanted to try, and I looked at hybrids as well. But actually, when push came to shove, I thought the diesel is still porky. It's still got a lot of poke to it. Okay, it's going to cost me a bit more to fill up. It's going to get me, I'm actually getting about 200 miles more per tank than I was getting in the M40i.
Was you?
I'm hovering around 40 mpg when the M40i was hovering around 23, 24 mpg.
Was it?
Yeah, so I'm doing much better, even though it's costing me a tiny bit more at the
10p a litre more.
Yeah, it's not.
You get 20% back because you're VAT registered. So.
But it's probably costing me 10, 15 quid more each fill up.
Yeah.
So it's really
and
not
how many miles you doing more?
200 miles more. So
it's fine.
Yeah, it totally
you're in
works.
front.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, super happy, beautiful car, tan leather interior, which I adore.
Nice car, actually.
I made a little bit of a mistake.
You've made a huge mistake.
So I wrapped it. Got to give a big shout out to the Wrap Sanctuary down in Poole near Bournemouth. Did an amazing job wrapping the car. I thought, you know what I'll do? I'll go green again. That'll be a vibe, won't it?
Yeah.
Because tan interior, green. I wanted one. There was actually a green and tan X3 M40i that came
Match
through.
GT3. Oh.
Came through Dick Love. He's totally lying, mate. He doesn't even know my spec. Came through Dick Lovett in Hungerford, I think. And I was like, I want to match that. Blah, blah. Got it all lined up. Wrap Sanctuary were amazing. Helped me pick colours. We lined it all up. And then literally about 2 weeks before I had to drop the car off, I saw a picture in the material that I'd chosen. I went,
Oh, no.
I don't think I really like that. So I was flicking through to see what other greens were there. And I went, lads, let's go with this other green. And they were like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. They'll go, we'll bring a roll up with us when we come. I was like, no, I'll be fine. I want the other one. Anyway, they came to collect the car, had a roll with it. They showed me the roll. I was like, oh, yeah, it looks perfect. That's great. It's like a British racing green. It's nice. They wrapped the car, sent me a picture, and I went, oh, shish kebab.
Wrong one.
Kermit green is what I'd call it. It's actually really not dissimilar to the RS6 colour, but for me, it's way too green. As in, I don't like it. I'm not happy with it. But I paid money for it. They did a fantastic job. It took a week, and I don't really know what to do now.
Can't you put some wrap over it?
Well, either I just de-wrap it and go back to the super nice, it's that dark black, which is actually blue. It's like a dark blue that looks black.
Carbon black.
Thank you. So it's actually, I probably should never have wrapped it in the first place, but I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I don't see any point in re-wrapping it again in the green that I should have first chosen. So I either got to de-wrap it or I just got to suck it up and stick with the green. I'll put a photo online. I'll put a photo on screen now. So if you're watching on YouTube, let me know what you think. Is it too? I think it's too green. It stresses me out.
When he puts the photo up, I'd shut your eyes if I was you.
And that's supposed to be like my subtle daily that no one will like. I can just cruise around and do my own thing. And now everywhere I go, everyone looks at it.
Yeah.
So
and you.
Thank you, Rap Sanctuary. You did an amazing job. I just royally messed up and picked the wrong colour.
Why didn't you listen to him, mate?
Well, to be fair, they were just doing what the customer asked. They didn't particularly sway me in either way. They were like, yeah, sure, that's a great colour. They love it. They think it's amazing.
Yeah.
But it is. It's very much a wrapped car.
Yeah.
There's nothing OEM about it.
Yeah.
So that no wonder they like it because they do insane stuff. Like some of the wraps they've done are like right out there. And so as a wrapping company, you'd be like, yeah, it looks amazing. I'm like, I want it really subtle.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, but that is the daily. It's not really going to be on YouTube, that car. I don't think I'm ever going to put it on YouTube. I probably will at some point. But it's not a YouTube car. It's just the daily in the background. That's because, of course, 360, going strong. Headed down to AV Engineering in a couple of weeks.
It's not been down there yet?
No, it's post-Melee checkup.
Oh,
so.
I wonder why you've been quiet about that. I thought he hasn't really said anything about that car. So it's either written off or it ain't been there yet.
No,
so.
Mate, you were in it at the end of that event.
I know I was in it. I remember.
Wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Well, let's see.
Let's see. So yeah, a couple of weeks is going down there. So there'll be a big update video coming in August. About halfway through my road trip, my road to 50k, how that car's getting on. But as you all know, going nowhere, so 360 stays. GT3 Spec locked in.
Well, you've done it.
Last Wednesday.
I know what you've done as well.
It's not green and tan. Tony was joking. Actually, just so you know, you actually cannot pick any interior colours these days. In the UK, you can only have black. Touring or wing car, you can only have black.
Change the inserts though, can't you?
Nope.
No. Like after.
I'm not going to say anything about that.
No.
Because there's a criteria.
But in general, people can. There might be a criteria, but people can if they desire.
Sure.
It's only an upholstery change, mate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Porsche also offer it. I'm giggling about something else in my head. Porsche exclusive also do offer inserts.
Oh.
Anyway, moving on. So spec locked in. Super happy, I think. I had a wobble. Super happy.
You've had a wobble?
I had a wobble right up until the last minute. We locked it. So the spec locked on Wednesday. On Monday, I made my final decision. Up until that, we were going back and forth on a few different things.
Monday last week?
Last week. So
a week ago?
A week ago.
Right.
It is now a waiting game, people. Hopefully we'll build it in October. We just don't know when. As soon
can't
as I
change
find
it.
out more. No, can't change the thing. Locked.
It's in.
Finalised, locked. Nothing can be changed. I've had to accept the decisions that I've made. There's one thing which I regret not doing, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't really care. It's like a very small cosmetic thing that that's the only thing that I was like, I should have probably done that. But anyway, lots of money, all the money.
Good.
Do you want to take a stab at my final price for a GT3?
Well, it will be between 150 and 160 for sure.
Pick a number.
I'm going to go in the middle. I'm going to go 154.
157.
Oh, no.
They've got a little carried away at times.
I know what they do. They sit you in front of that screen and they go, well, no, just change this bit. Just do this bit.
I was actually very reserved. Russell at Guildford was very nice. He actually talked me out of a few things.
Well, I hope he did. What you were showing me,
Bless him.
I'd have talked you out of all of it.
One of the colours that I was suggesting, he was like, haven't seen that before. I think I preferred the other one, but that's interesting. And then he was sending me Instagram pictures of other colours. I was like, Russell, is it that obvious? It's very obvious that you don't like what I've sent you. Anyway, top lad.
Because one day they might have to sell it, you see.
I think that's exactly what he's thinking.
Never going to be able to sell it like that.
That's exactly what he's thinking. But anyway, so yeah, super exciting. GT3 spec locked. Update video coming in a couple of weeks, and hopefully November delivery.
You're actually going to take it in November?
That's supposedly when it's arriving.
Right.
So that leaves us with the third and final car that I kind of have been teasing for.
You've got another one?
Well, yes, this is what we've been building towards.
Oh.
It's part of why the RS6 went.
Right.
It's a car we've been teasing for a long time. It's one that I said well, you're all going to kind of know what it is if you've watched my main channel or listened to this podcast forever. And I'm picking it up tomorrow and revealing it on Sunday.
What?
Oh, I won't bring it to the live show because I've got something else coming to the live show.
No, wait.
Hold on. Just all I'm going to say, and this is we're going to wrap it up because it's obvious and I don't want to reveal anything more because it's all coming on Sunday. But yes, finally, I have a new Jaguar F-Type.
Oh.
I know you're disappointed, but I don't care.
I'm not disappointed.
It's taken me 6 years. When did I sell my F-Type R? And I know I had the beautiful Loner green and tan, but yes, it's happened. Anyway, so that's all we're going to... That's it for now. You can get excited, I hope. Maybe I'll bore off another F-Type. But I don't care because you all know. And I'll explain my reasoning and thinking maybe in future episodes of this podcast, but also on the video going live on Sunday, my reveal of, yes, which I didn't know was coming this year, the one that I ordered last October.
Well, nearly a year ago.
Nearly a year ago.
Well, that's not uncommon, mate.
It's not uncommon, but I thought, that's quick, I think. I was not sure it was coming.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like over a year, but go on, Jag. So yes, stay tuned on the main channel for that. As I'm sure millions of you, not that we have millions of listeners, but lots of you expected it and have predicted it. Everyone knows me. And when I said that I've got a couple of cars coming, everyone kind of figured it out, but still exciting. You got any new cars? What's going to replace the Pista?
No idea.
No idea.
Like literally, I have absolutely no idea.
Sounds fun.
I'm going away next month, so I'll use the Pista for that. Then it's going.
Then done.
It's done. Finished.
And then so it feels like we could press you into something here.
Absolutely no idea. I won't buy anything till next spring, summertime. I won't have a car.
765 LT sounds like an interesting.
No, I don't want them. Well, I would 100% have one if it wasn't a McLaren because I bet that car is amazing. The only problem I have with McLarens in general, which does put me off apart from the actual brand, is I don't like the brakes on McLarens, mate. There's too much travel on them, mate. That's why I like the brakes.
Firm. You've got to drive that STO, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, literally 10% of pressure, and you're like...
I'll tell you what else is on my list as well, and I know we spoke about it a few times, SF90.
Oh, bloody hell, he is. Big bollocks. Why are you back into one of those now?
Because I don't know, mate. I'm sort of running out of cars that I haven't had.
Yeah. What a nice position to be in. Well, we're going to be picking that up, I'm sure, over future episodes and bullying Tony into buying something. Actually, maybe we'll use that at the live show. Maybe we'll get some people to shout out suggestions of what you could get. I can't wait to see what people would suggest.
That's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, right? So
I won't listen to any of it. But
of course you won't. Subscribe now if you don't want to miss all these future episodes of us bullying Tony into buying something. More details about, GT3 and F-Type, which is getting revealed this weekend. Turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes if you're watching here on YouTube. If you want to follow Tony, he's at Tony Gravelwood Car Sales on most social media platforms. I'm at Seen Through Glass on most social media platforms, and we'll be back with you with the live episode from Gravelwood Car Sales next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.